2012 has been in the media a lot. The year 2012 is upon us. It's been in the news. Tony made a movie about it. It's in lots of books. But are there any of these books, are the predictions for any of these books related to 2012 that are actually happening now? Absolutely. Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Thiel, and I'm the author of 2012 and the Rise of the Secret Sect. Since this book came out in September 2009, world events have started to align with at least 20 predictions in this book. And these things are going on right now, and these are things that you probably want to know about. For example, in chapters 7, 8 in the appendix, 2012 The Rise of the Secret Sect teaches that the US dollar will be ultimately worthless with another currency taking its place in the world. After the book came out, both the United Nations and the Wall Street Journal said the United States dollar needs to be replaced as the world's reserve currency. This is happening more and more. There's more and more nations getting together. The Gulf Arabs are planning, along with Russia, China, France, and Japan, to end dollar dealings for oil, and they hope to do that by 2018. This is according to The Independent. The United Nations, as I mentioned before, wants the dollar to be dropped as the primary basis of world trade. They've said that in June of 2010. And we're also seeing reports that despite what's going on right now, the euro or some European currency is considered to be the only real alternative to the dollar. In November 2010, Russia and China announced they're going to drop the US dollar for their own bilateral trade. More and more people are starting to look at replacing US dollar as the world's reserve currency. My book said that was going to happen. This is happening right now. About the next one. 2012 The Rise of the Secret Sect warns that the Vatican is going to continue to expand its ecumenical policies, and it's going to compromise in order to get Protestants and the Orthodox to join with the Church of Rome. After my book came out, the Vatican announced it was going to amend its constitution in order to allow the Anglicans to become part of it. Now, the reason that's of importance is that Pope Leo XIII declared in 1896 that the ordinations carried out according to the Anglican rite have been and are absolutely null and utterly void. Well, how could it be null and void? Because the Constitution of the Vatican has just been amended to say, you know what, Anglicans, if you want to become Catholic, we will let you come in. Your baptisms are valid. You can keep the same rituals. You can stay in the same building. Now, it is true that they require that the priests were reordained, but those same priests get to remain married if they were married. This is the type of thing I was warning about. I also warned that we may see some people rising up that may have some effect on an ecumenical movement which will affect the Catholic Church. And in July 2010, Kurt Koch was announced to be the president of the Pontifical Council for Promoting Christian Unity. And when that happened, I warned that if he became a cardinal, watch out. And so what happened? A few months later, he was made a cardinal. He's somebody to watch because a lot of these people involved with ecumenical unity do not have the same conviction in terms of doctrine and faith that people who aren't so involved. In Chapter 5, 2012, The Rise of the Secret Sect warned that a European unified power would rise up. And this has happened. After the book came out, the Lisbon Treaty, which the Irish had voted against, they changed their mind, they voted for it. Poland then signed it, and then a couple of months, just about a month or so later, the United States put some pressure on them, and the Czech Republic president signed it. And I saw him on CNN or BBC News. It was translated in English, and he basically said he'd signed away the sovereignty of his nation. And that happened November 1st, 2009. Now you say, but there's a lot of things going on in Europe right now, they're going to break apart and all that kind of stuff. Yes, but Bible prophecy specifically warns in Daniel chapter 2, verses 41 through 43, that the 10 toes were going to be made of iron and clay, partly weak, partly strong, and it was going to be a fragile organization. And people say, well, yeah, but the European Union is going to reorganize, things can happen. That's right. The Bible prophecy also warned about that in Revelation chapter 17, and we're starting to see that right before our eyes right this day. I specifically wrote in 2012, The Rise of the Secret Sect, that U.S. President Barack Obama would encourage the rise of a European power to the peril of the United States. On October 15th, 2009, the Czech president, Václav Klaus, was the only person who wasn't going to sign this. So what did we do? On October 23rd, 2009, the United States sent over Vice President Joe Biden to the Czech Republic, and lo and behold, after his visit, the Czech Supreme Court equivalent basically said the president needed to sign it, And they did this. In addition to that, according to the New York Times, on May 10, 2010, President Barack Obama called German Chancellor Merkel and told that Europe needed an overwhelming financial rescue for the sake of its unity. And she apparently heeded that suggestion. Again, I warned that Barack Obama would do that. And in 2010, it was announced the USA made an extra commitment of money to support the EU. And in 2011, the same kind of thing seems to be going on with the crisis over in Europe, that the United States seems like we're getting involved to kind of help them go on. So clearly the Obama administration is supporting the rise of European power, and I said that was going to happen in 2012 in the rise of the secret sect. Number 5, the 2012 The Rise of the Secret Sect warns that some kind of a temporary peace deal involving the Middle East with a 7-year confirmation by a European leader must come and then be broken. Since this has come out, the Europeans have repeatedly proposed that they should put together a peace deal. And you say, well, who might accept a peace deal? Why would Israel, for example, take a peace deal if they don't like it? Well, interestingly, there was a poll that came out in July of 2011 that found that 81% of Israelis wish to have their nation as part of the European Union. Well, they may be told, if they want that to ever happen, they're going to have to put up with a European peace deal that they may not like. So again, world events are lining up. Number 6, 2012 The Rise of the Secret Sect explains that once the US dollar collapses, gold in general and European replacement currencies in particular will be useful. Europeans are going to find it useful to keep gold as more of a reserve currency. And that's been happening. Since the book came out, India bought 200 metric tons of gold. Now when I grew up, India was supposed to be this really poor country, but they're worried the US dollar is going to collapse and they're starting to go with gold. A bunch of other nations, including very poor ones, are doing that as well. Number 7, 2012 The Rise of the Secret Sect warns that the Large Hadron Collider, which wasn't even functional when my book came out, might develop technologies that can be used by the military, by the European military, because this is a European project. And what's interesting is that one of the things that they've been able to do actually is to capture antimatter for 17 minutes. You say, well, that doesn't sound like very long. Well, when I wrote 2012 The Rise of the Secret Sect, they didn't think you could capture antimatter at all. And if so, it only existed for a couple of nanoseconds or something. Now it's 17 minutes. We're starting to see the development of high military potential technology coming out of that. Now, people will deny that left and right, but the reality is major physics projects normally have massive military capabilities. And I warned in 2012 and the Rise of the Secret Sect that the Europeans may have technology from this that will fulfill the prophecies in Daniel 13, verse 4, about who is like the beast, who is able to make war with him. And I think that's going to happen because they have different military technologies. 2012, The Rise of the Secret Sect warns the U.S. will greatly increase its debt. Well, that's happened. The debt clock, and I have a picture of the debt clock in here from April 2008, was $9.2 trillion. When the book went to press, it was $11 trillion. Now it's over $15 trillion, and that's growing. So that's happening. 2012, The Rise of the Secret Sect warned, quote, because of domestic economic concerns and international pressures, Barack Obama is shifting priorities away from defense spending. This will help lead to the destruction of the United States when Europeans are ready and the U.S. is not. And that's going on. The so-called super committee that Barack Obama and company put together to try to deal with the deficit fell apart. And because of that, we'll see what happens throughout 2012 to stop the automatic defense cuts that go into effect January of 2013. But Leon Panetta, the Secretary of Defense, said if those happen, those are doomsday cuts. Doomsday cuts. This is from the Secretary of Defense. This is just for me. The doomsday cuts. And I've warned about this in 2012 in the Rise of the Secret Sect. We're going to start to do that, and that's the kind of thing that's happening. To be brief on some of the other ones, 2012 The Rise of the Secret Sect warns that for daily sacrifices to stop, they have to start. Well, after the book came out, a temple over in Jerusalem was finished that can be used of unhewed stones for sacrifices. The Jews do not have to have a temple to do sacrifices, and I checked this out myself with the Sanhedrin over there, and they said no, as soon as they get government permission, they can do sacrifices. Number 11, 2012 The Rise of the Secret Sect explains that leadership of the Orthodox Church will ultimately support a council to lure most of the Eastern Orthodox into unity with the Church of Rome, as it will also bring in many Protestants. Well, the Ecumenical Patriarch of Constantinople in 2010 said that people who were against this were unacceptably fanatical, but he also said it was going to take a synod in order to do that. In 2012, The Rise of the Secret Sect, it says, yes, it will take a synod, and that is probably what's going to happen, and that's going on right now. Number 12, 2012, The Rise of the Secret Sect warns that there were going to be problems with the U.S. GPS system, and that the U.S. was going to rely on Europe's upcoming Galileo system for part of our military defense. When I wrote that, the spokesman for the U.S. government, U.S. Air Force, said, no, we don't have a problem with our GPS. We aren't going to have that kind of a problem. Well, guess what? On July 31st, 2010, the United States announced that, yeah, we are going to cooperate with the Europeans. We are going to use part of their Galileo GPS system for our defense. This is going to give the Europeans a capability to attack and reduce the U.S.'s ability to retaliate. Don't Americans realize that the major wars that we've been fighting, we've been winning because of satellite technology and other advanced technology, and now we're getting somebody who could be a potential enemy in order to stop us from doing that? That's a prediction I made that absolutely has already come to pass. The Galileo is not fully functional yet, but I didn't say it would be in my book. I said it would take a few years, and we're still seeing that. And they're starting to launch satellites, and they're starting to get to it. 2012, number 13, The Rise of the Secret Sect warned there'd be civil unrest in Europe. That's starting to happen. 2012, The Secret Sect warns the apparitions of Mary will be used, perhaps by some, to claim that an ecumenical religion should be developed that will rise up and call itself Catholic, even though it's going to compromise with the current faith of the Catholic Church. The Pope compromised or changed his mind on that after my book has come out, and we're going to see more of that coming down the pipe. 2012, The Rise of the Secret Sect warns that, from quoting Habakkuk 2:7, that foreign creditors will rise up suddenly against the U.S. We're getting ready for that. Some foreigners have started, especially the Chinese, have gone out and said that they need to do something like that. Number 16, 2012, The Rise of the Secret Sect warned Barack Obama will cause people to err and to discourage, but not instead of encourage biblical sin. He signed bills for abortion after the book come out. He actually put out, his administration, a bill that says, basically, pharmacists, you have to sell abortion pills. Now, a lot of people are protesting that. The president also would refuse to defend the Defensive Marriage Act, which I believe he's constitutionally required when he swore an oath to uphold the laws of the land. 2012, The Secret Sect warned that China might end up with part of Australia because of its relationship with the United States. On November 10th, at my cogwriter.com website, I warned, because the U.S. plans to put troops in Australia, that this would upset the Chinese, and the Chinese might use that as justification for taking over Australia. About a week later, the Global Times from China, which is a Chinese Communist government paper, said that because China did not like what was going on and Australia put troops, is going to allow American troops to be permanently stationed in Australia, that Australia better watch out, and that they might be caught up in the crossfire. Now, I realize that Australia has not yet taken over China, but the Bible warns about the Anglo lands being divided up for gain by different nations, and I warned about that in 2012, The Rise of the Secret Sect, and this already seems to be starting to happen. I warned that Barack Obama would encourage the rise of a multinational Islamic power in the Middle East, and that's been happening. The U.S. administration has supported the Muslim Brotherhood in Syria, Libya, Egypt, and elsewhere. And we're starting to see that the Muslim Brotherhood's goal, by the way, is to have what the Bible calls the King of the South, basically an Islamic power, probably from Morocco, maybe all the way to Afghanistan, or even further than that. And that's what the Muslim Brotherhood wants. When I wrote this book, the Muslim Brotherhood was illegal, nothing was happening. Now they're getting electoral seats in Egypt. They've got ties with Ennahda Party in Tunisia, which just won in 2011. A lot of things are happening with that. And that's related to the next prediction, which is that an Islamic power is going to rise up to form the King of the South, and we've been seeing that. And the last one, now this one I don't have a lot of news reports I can say, but in 2012, The Rise of the Secret Sect, I specifically warned that we're at or near the time the Bible calls the beginning of sorrows, and I believe that that's happened since, has started since my book came out. Perhaps it hasn't, but as far as I can tell, looking at world events, it seems like it has. Now, how did I know all these things? Because I tried to follow Jesus' admonition to watch, and I tried to understand biblical and non-biblical prophecies and world events in the light of Bible prophecy. My book is available on Amazon.com, thesecretsect.com, and BarnesandNoble.com. Now, you can get it from any of those sources, but if you do get it from www.thesecretsect.com, you'll get the 6,000 word report that documents things that have already been happening. Events in the book have happened. Events in the book are going to continue to happen. If you want to know what's going to happen in 2012 and beyond, you need to get this book because events in this book are happening right now. I'm Dr. Bob Thiel, and I urge you to get this book, compare it to what your Bible says, compare it to world events. You'll be shocked of what's going on right now. Again, the book is available at www.thesecretsect.com.